The key for strong recoveries. We must demonstrate that the solutions are important to us. The solutions a ton offered for number of crises are different from those of the authorities, in the core of their spirits. They offer technical solutions based on humans' intelligence, while a ton is offering solutions based on love in order to justify and attract the best recoveries. The authorities and experts ask, with often very little levels of commitment and desire, distracted by many conflicting interests, how could we solve the problem? A ton, on the other hand, asks, how do we need to behave in order to demonstrate that we desire the strongest solutions? Those are critical spiritual differences. The fact is that the experts have failed again and again to offer the people strong solutions during major crises. Their entire approach is wrong. Does that prove that a ton is correct? No. Yet, people should sincerely demand to know for the reasons his offers are automatically been rejected, without any consideration. Could that be because his approach is on completely different spiritual foundations? It all started in Hawaii during the months after September 11th. The authorities were all offering great discounts and other deals, and operated very aggressive marketing campaigns, a lot of that in Japan, without bringing much great results. Similar solutions with those attitudes were offers by all the relevant American authorities. Yet, none of them prevented the 5 million layoffs, or the tens of millions suffering from economic hardships. They all failed because they disregarded the most important issue: how should the local residents behave in order to demonstrate that the solution's important to them, in order to deserve and attract the best situation. Their focus was on influencing the Japanese, Europeans, Australians, and other potential tourists. A ton's focus was on making sure that the local residents, first in Hawaii, and then to be copied in at least 20 other American locations, demonstrate that the issues were important to them, not through complaining, or even by giving huge discounts, but by their own actions towards the recoveries. A ton's plans would have influenced mass numbers of tourists to return to America, much sooner and even with lesser discounts. Yet, he claimed that it must first start with the Americans' actions of love, care, and of faith. Those actions would have developed the atmosphere, including excitement, to attract the tourists, in huge numbers. Unfortunately, he experienced in Hawaii exactly the opposite atmosphere, of each one for himself. On one hand, the people were filled with artificial love and patriotism, including mass donations to poor leverage charities, to develop their pride and social standings, while not committing to prevent the economic crisis or the mass layoffs. Not only did they not behave in ways to attract the tourists, but to the contrary, they started layoffs within just 2 to 3 days after the attack, not as the result of the recession. 2 to 3 days is too early to see recession, but as actions of panic and lack of faith that contributed the most to the recession. Their behaviors, in fact, legitimized the mass cancellations of the tourists. A ton's additional concerns and warnings were of critical principle that when the public fails to care about a simple crisis, they set themselves not only for poor recovery, but also attract and justify stronger one within few years. Then, by failing to care about the following one, they attract even stronger one, etc. His efforts were not only to influence the American public, to attract immediate recovery during 2001, but also to prevent that chain. After he failed, he was very concerned a year later, when America was preparing for the war of Iraq, that it would turn into America's Lebanon due to the public's, and not the military, weak attitudes, care, and commitment. His concerns were that America went into the war without the public demonstration that it was important for them to win. That chain of crises is not over. The poor economic situations during the corona epidemic are part of the overall chain. A ton explained this in a long article he wrote in March 2020. It is posted in 3 sections in the link below. When the economists around the world were seeking technical solutions, he explained that preserving strong economies depends first on the people's actions of care to demonstrate their desires for the best. Those are all issues A Ton dealt with his offers at the time. You can read few of his past offers in the link below. Please read our site in the link below and support our plans to write a 300-page electronic book to prepare much stronger recoveries for the future. Patreon.com/aton44